Over 400 horsepower, almost 670 Newton meters of torque, and a 0 to 100 km/h time of just 5.6 seconds. That too in a car that weighs over 2.5 tons. And that is the magic of electricity. Something the new Q8 e-tron embodies really well. Now Q8 e-tron meaning this is a completely electric vehicle, and Q8 meaning it sits right on top in Audi's scheme of things when it comes to electric SUVs. This of course is the first. There will be smaller affordable versions coming as well, the Q6 e-tron and the Q4 e-tron, but that of course is a story for another day. Today, let's talk Q8 e-tron. You can have this in two body styles. You can have it as a regular SUV, or you can have this as a Sportback, as you see here. Honestly, we prefer this. It seems to have more road presence than the regular SUV. Now, the Q8 e-tron might carry the Q8 moniker, but compared to the ICE-powered Q8, this one is smaller. It sits on a shorter wheelbase, it is narrower, and it sits closer to the ground. Not that in terms of road presence or in terms of visual appeal, it loses anything. In fact, with these huge 20-inch wheels, the typical technical face that you get with Audi, the subtly pronounced haunches at the back, and of course the sloping roofline, it does grab eyeballs, and it will get you to do a double take when you see it go by. This of course is the facelift of the original e-tron we got a couple of years back, the Q8 name notwithstanding. And as part of this facelift, it now gets new lights, a new grille, and a new bumper. Now in electric this might be, but it still uses an ICE architecture, and a clear-cut sign of that is this transmission tunnel. You honestly don't need one in a complete electric car, but this is something that's been carried over. So it's not really surprising that when you step inside the Q8 e-tron, there is nothing revolutionary about its interior. It feels and looks just like a typical Audi interior, and that honestly is no bad thing. We've been through a lot of Audi interiors over the generations, and some things just stay. Things like interiors being comfortable, they being intuitive, they being extremely well put together, and that premium and luxury feel, it just exudes out of the cabin, and that holds true here too. So the moment you sit inside, you've got really comfortable seats that greet you. Everything around you falls easily to hand. The multimedia system, it's again great to look at. Your virtual cockpit, the way the the steering controls fall to your hands, and including this nice looking and operating shifter. So everything here feels right. You can just get in and feel comfortable like you belong. So yeah, but maybe we will see a proper differentiation of what interiors can be in a completely electric version when maybe the Q6 or the Q4, if they're built on born electric platforms. But for now, this feels more regular, and that's not a bad thing. Now, if you prefer to be driven in, again, the Q8 e-tron isn't a bad place to be, right at the back. Now, like we said at the start, it might have Q8 on its nameplate, but it is a dimensionally smaller car than the ICE-powered Q8. Not that it's affected how the kind of space that's available inside. So you still have plenty of knee room. I'm 5'8", touching 5'9", and this is set to my driving position. You can see the amount of knee room that's on offer. Of course, this being the Sportback, the headroom is slightly limited, but unless I get thumped around on a bump, chances are it's not really going to be an issue. And in terms of shoulder room, yes, you can have 3 people here. They can sit comfortably, at least the ones on the side. The one who takes the center seat is not going to be very comfortable, because of this intrusion. It's going to be difficult to move in and slide in, and then when you sit, this is a super hard seat back, so it doesn't make for comfortable seating at all. But yeah, if you are being driven in, you're seated, you've got comfortable armrest here, you've got an armrest here, and you have cup holders as well. So nothing to really complain about. You also get your own, like we said, it gets a 4-zone climate control system, so you have your own temperature and fan settings, so you don't have to suffer in heat or get frozen just because the others want a different temperature. Now, this being an electric, we can see that the floor is a little high, and if you're slightly taller, then chances are that you will find that the thigh support on the seat is not so great. But that apart, I think there is honestly very little to complain about when you're seated at the back. It's also loaded with features. So you've got ventilated seats with massage function for the front seats. These are of course adjustable, electrically adjustable. You've got the ambient lighting package. You've got glossy black operating buttons with nice solid haptic feedback, which is quite nice to use. And you've also got the digital matrix LED headlamps, which do a dance of their own and feel really good to see. You've got a panoramic glass sunroof. You've got adaptive windshield wipers. And in terms of safety, you've got full-size airbags, 8 in number. You've got tire pressure monitoring system. You've got Audi Pre-Sense, the basic version. And you've got anti-theft wheel bolts. Now, in terms of entertainment, Audi's always done a good job with its MMI system. And here too, you get a Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. You've got, of course, like we said earlier, the virtual cockpit. And you've got wireless charging for your phone as well. Now, comfort-wise, just to make your driving a little easier, you've got a 360-degree camera to help you park better. And if you want further assistance, there's also a parking assist package that you can get. There's a 4-zone climate control system, and you've got soft close for doors as well. In terms of boot space, the Q8 e-tron isn't the most practical. The access is of course good because you've got this wide, tall tailgate opening, which makes putting stuff inside and taking stuff out quite easy. But it has a high floor, which again is the drawback or compromise one has to live with when you take a ICE platform and convert it into electric, and that takes away from the practicality somewhat. So yeah, a deeper, bigger boot would have been nicer. The Audi Q8 e-tron comes with a 114 kilowatt-hour battery pack. This is a step up from the older e-tron. This battery then powers a pair of motors driving each of the axles, hence quattro. It does this via a single-speed automatic. The output figures, like we said at the start, are very impressive. The combined output for the motors is 400 bhp, actually over 400 bhp, and the torque at hand is almost 670 Newton meters. No wonder, even with its over 2.5 ton curb weight, the Q8 e-tron sprints from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 5.6 seconds. And it does so silently. But you aren't going to go to a drag strip and go pedal to the metal carpet in this case all the time. You're going to get up, you're going to go to work, you're going to drive to work, maybe take the kids out, the family out. And for that, you need a car that's quiet, comfortable, effortless, but of course, quick in its own way. And the Q8 e-tron is that. So when you take it over undulating roads, when you take it over poor roads, there is a sense of plushness to its ride, thanks to those air springs and a 5-link setup for the suspension. So a sophisticated setup, and you can feel that. It's not a car that will, even though it's plush, it's not like it wallows too much or it rolls around or it pitches. It doesn't have any of that. So it rides pretty flat as well. And that just adds to the overall comfort. So you spend long hours in this car, no matter what sort of road, undulating, poor or otherwise. And it's a comfortable place to be in. Now in terms of handling, again the Q8 feels flat, it feels stable, it is quick, so even without trying, you get on the throttle even lightly and you'll be sitting at 100 kilometers per hour, but you won't be able to tell. It feels like you're doing half those speeds because the cabin's quiet and the body doesn't move around, and there is no stress in any way involved in you feeling like you're working the car. So, and the fact that of course it rides absolutely flat. The roads have been undulating where we've driven the car. We've seen some slightly poor roads, some square edge bumps as well, and it flattens almost everything. Now the square edge bump, yes, you will feel it. There is no way around that, but it still rounds that off. So it doesn't have any, that harshness in its ride. So overall, a car that not just rides well, but feels stable in a straight line too. So with the right kind of charging infrastructure in place, I think it'll make for a lovely long distance car. Now it is heavy. It might not feel it when you're driving around on the highway doing 120 kilometers per hour or commuting in the city, but when you get to a section of twisties, you can feel that weight. And so it's not doesn't feel the most agile in quick direction changes. Yes, give it a longer set of corners and it feels again like in a straight line, planted, flat. So I wouldn't say it's a great car to drive, but it's a nice car to tour in, to have a really relaxed commute. So yeah, it goes with that whole electric feel of being effortless and untaxing totally. So yeah. Think of the Audi Q8 e-tron as a no-brainer purchase option. Let's say you're in the market for a luxury EV. Now, because you want a luxury car, you want something that's easy to drive, that has all the bells and whistles, that's comfortable, that's pampering, that has safety on its side. And because it's an electric vehicle, the least you want is for it to have the range to take you to work and back 5 days a week. The Q8 e-tron delivers on all those fronts. So like we said, it is a no-brainer purchase. Plus, it's good looking on the outside, on the inside. We like the Sportback more than we like the SUV, but of course you can choose either, and they're both good looking cars. The only thing missing on the Q8 e-tron in our book, and that's probably because it's built on an ICE architecture, it's not a born electric platform, is that it doesn't serve anything special, that wow factor. That's something that we've been seeing in born electric luxury EVs from other car makers. So that's something that you'd expect at this price point for a car that is right on top on the pecking order for Audi in terms of SUVs. So yeah, but that apart, a lovely car. If you find the Q8 e-tron too big or too expensive, but you like the shape, well then check out our Volvo C40 recharge video. And if you're still into ICE, well then we've done a video on the E53 AMG Mercedes, so do check that out as well. Thank you for watching.